Okay, so you may hear my wife in the background finishing putting Cole to bed, but that's just fine. So, it starts off by saying, Gloria says the two expressions are equivalent. We need to remember that equivalent means look the same, or look different but have the same value. So to see if they are equivalent, I multiply. And you can do this in your calculator. 1 divided by 3 times 12 leaves me with 4x. 1/3 times 15 is positive 5 minus 9x. This leaves me negative 9x plus 5. That's as simplified as it gets. This one, I distribute. That leaves me with negative 5x minus 5. Oh, notice how I put negative 9x. Oh man. That's what I get for doing stuff late at night after I put my kid to bed. 4 minus 9 is negative 5x and plus 5. This is negative 5x minus 5. They are not the same. So is she correct? Nope, because they're not the same. The grocery store has advertised a sale on popsicles. Each box of any flavor of popsicle costs $2.53. If Bernard buys 1 box of strawberry, 1 box of grape, write an algebraic expression that represents the total cost of buying the popsicles. I would start by saying S equals strawberry and G equals grape. That way, anybody that sees my problem knows exactly what it is. And then I'd say 253 times G plus S, because that's how 1 box is. So 1 box, they're each 253. So now I can write an equivalent expression, which is 253G plus 253S. Explain how the expressions are equivalent. They have the same value, but look different. Remember, to prove that they are equivalent, you have to simplify them. Just like we did in number 1, you have to simplify them. So this is number 1, A, B, and C. Okay. Now you see my kitchen table. Pay no attention to the food. Oh, that's not food. It's just a scratch. Awesome. The joys of having a 2-year-old. A new park was designed to contain 2 circular gardens. Garden A has a diameter of 30 meters. Garden B has a diameter of 60. So, here's Garden A, 30. Garden B, 60. I would always draw something just so I know. In terms of pi means leave pi alone. How many meters will needed to outline the smaller garden? So if we're talking about outline, that's the circumference. So C equals pi times D. C equals pi times 30. So I like to always have the pi last. That leaves me 30 pi meters. So if I was going to answer this fully, I would say the gardener needs 30 pi meters in edging. How much more edging will be needed for the larger garden than the smaller one? Well, we need to find the larger. Keep in terms of pi. So now I've got C equals pi times D. So if C equals, flip it, 60 pi meters. So how much more? Then I would take 60 pi minus 30 pi. Pi minus pi is 0, that's gone. 60 minus 30, so how much more? 30 meters more. Okay, remember, pi is a number. So pi minus pi is 0. The gardener wishes to put down weed block fabric on the 2 gardens, so both gardens, before plants are planted in the ground. How much fabric will be needed to cover the area of both gardens? So I'm finding area of both. Notice up here, we have the diameter. So how do we find the radius? Well, we divide it by 2. So R equals 15 here, r equals 30 here. So area of the smaller one is pi times r squared. Area equals, we're reading it in terms of pi times r squared is 15 squared. The area of the bigger one is pi times r squared. Area equals pi times 30 squared. So now I've got area equals 225 pi meters squared. Again, it's area, so it's meters squared. 30, I think it's gonna be 900, but let's make sure. Yep, give me 900 pi meters squared. Okay, so am I done? Well, not quite, because it wants how much fabric we'll need to cover both. So 900 pi plus 225 pi. The pi's stay, because we know that's 3.14, so we're actually multiplying this. Don't worry about this. We know the pi is just going to be part of our answer. 0 plus 5 is 5. 0 plus 2 is 2. 9 plus 2 is 11. So why can I do that? Because they have the same number that they're getting multiplied, I can just add them. It's like repeated addition. So I have 1,125 pi meters squared of weed block. You might be saying, Mr. H, well, why can you subtract the pi's up here? Because again, it's a number. If we're multiplying, if I have 60 times 3 and 30 times 3, 3 minus 3, it's still going to give me a number where I can subtract it out. Okay? Tougher question. Play court in the school playground is shaped like a square joined by a semicircle. The playground around the entire play court is, and blank of the total perimeter comes from the semicircle. Wonderful. What is the radius of the semicircle? So the total perimeter comes from the semicircle, 62 and 8/10. Perimeter is this and here. Oh, wait, no. If it's the total perimeter of the semicircle, it's just here. Why? Because perimeter is not this inside part. That's my fault. So 62 and 8/10 equals, and we're looking for the radius. 2 times 3 and 1400ths. Mr. H, why are you using 3 and 1400ths? Because it tells me right there what to use. R. So now this is 6 and 2800ths equals 62 and 8/10 R. But Mr. H, what did you do wrong? Well, we needed to know that this is getting divided by 2. Why? Because it's a semicircle. So we want a full circle. That's how we find radius. We can't just do this. So now I need to multiply both sides by 2. So I'm going to move all of my work over here. So now I've got 62 and 8/10 times 2 is 125 and 6/10 equals 6 and 2800ths R. Okay, so again, the reason we're dividing by 2 is this is the area, this is the circumference of a full circle, but we only have a semicircle, which is half. We have to get rid of the denominator first. So now I can divide by 6 and 2800ths. And that leaves me with R equaling 20. 20 what? Well, 20 feet. So I'm a little jealous. I told my wife I was going to work out with her, and I thought that I had enough time to do this, and I don't. She's starting to her workout, so I'm going to try to hurry up so I can go work out with her. The school wants to cover the play court with sports court flooring, okay? So radius. You need to get this question correct in order to do this question. So you got to get A first to get B. The school wants to cover the court. 3.14 for pi. How many square feet of flooring does the school need? Remember, it is a square joined by a semicircle. So the radius is 20. If the radius is 20, the whole thing's 40. So all of these are 40. So area of the rectangle is 40 times 40. Area of the semicircle is pi r squared divided by 2. So length times width, that's going to give me 1600 plus area equals pi times 20 squared divided by 2. But remember, the pi is 3.14. So I'm going to plug this into my calculator. Watch how I do this. 3.14 times 20 squared. I press enter. Then I divide it by 2. So the area for the playground of the semicircle is 628. So now I need to take both of these, right? So because we're still adding, so this plus this. So 628 plus 1600 gives me an area of the whole thing of 2,228. And it's feet squared. So if I wanted to answer this, which I do, the school would need to purchase 2,228 feet squared of court flooring. Okay, let me make sure that 40 times 40 is 1,600. Yeah, love when I'm right. Okay, moving on. Oh, love it. If angle ABC has 1/4 the measure of CBD, then what is the measure of angle CBD? Well, we don't know what it is, so it's X degrees. We know this one is 1/4 of this one. So now I have two angles. I've got 1/4 X plus X equals, if it's a straight line, it equals 180. So you have two different ways to do this. You can change this to a fraction, or not a fraction, a decimal, and say that's 0.25X. Well, Mr. H, how do I change that to a fraction? 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. So now I have 1 2500 X equals 180. Divide by 1 2500 X. That would leave me with X equals 180 divided by 1 2500, 144. So it's asking for the angle of CBD. Well, that's pretty easy because look, X is 144. So if I really wanted to be picky, I'd say the measure of angle CBD equals 144 degrees. If the measure of angle CBD is 3 times 10x minus 18 degrees, then what is the value of X? So you have to get letter A in order to get B. So we're plugging this in now. So substitution. 3 times 10x minus 18 equals 144. Distribute, distribute. 30x minus, and that should be 54, 18 multiplied by 3, 54, I love when I'm right, equals 144. I add 54 to both sides. That gives me 8, 9, 198 equals 30x. And then we divide by 30. So x equals 198 divided by 30 equals 6 and 6/10. And now my little girl's starting to wake up. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Letter C, how much water is needed to fill the pool? Fill means volume. I would still draw the picture. So now I have 20 feet long, 14 feet wide. Hold on one second. Guys, I'll take care of her. It's fine. Do you want to get her or you want me to? Okay. See, and that's how marriage works. We give and take. 14 feet, 20 feet, 4 feet. So volume is length times width times height. So, because again, how much needed to fill the pool? So V equals 20 times 14 times 4. Please show me the work. That way, if you miss it, you'll still get full credit. 20 times multiplied by 14 multiplied by 4 gives me 1,120 feet cubed. So again, I'd want a sentence. You need 1,120 feet cubed of water to fill the pool. Letter B, there are 5 24/100 gallons in 1 cubic foot. How many gallons are needed to fill the pool? Oh, well, cubic foot, this is a cubic foot. So 1,120. So I take the volume of the pool and I divide it by how many gallons are in 1 cubic foot. So I'm going to take 1,120 divided by 5 24/100, and it leaves me with 213.74. So how many gallons are needed to fill the pool? Well, we need over 213, so I'm gonna say 214 gallons. I hope I spelled gallons right. Okay. So after the leak was repaired, there must have been a leak. It was necessary to lay a thin layer of concrete to protect the sides of the pool. Calculate the area to be covered to complete the job. So this was like the warm-up question that I told you, hey, this is going to be on the test. I mean, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to. Told you so. So again, we know it's 14, 20, and 4. We're covering the sides. So all the sides. We're not touching the top or the bottom. So the formula for surface area, it's too late to be doing this. It's 2 times L times W plus 2 times L times H plus 2 times W times H. So width, length, height. What don't we need? We don't need this area down here. And what is that? That's width times height. We don't need the top or the bottom. Therefore, I don't need the length and the width. So we now call it lateral area, since we're just finding the sides. 2 times 20 times 4 plus 2 times 14 times 4. So the lateral area, 2 times 20 times 4. Show your work, 160 plus 8 times 14, 112. So the lateral area is 272 feet. Is it feet? Yeah, cubic feet. Feet squared. Why squared? Because it's volume over here, area over here. So how would I say this? I would say you would need 272 feet squared of concrete to complete the job. Last question. I like this question. There's a lot of extraneous information here. Extraneous meaning extra. Gary is learning about mosaics in art class. The teacher passes out a small square tile and encourages students to cut up the tile in various angles. Gary's first cuts look like this. So he cuts, it doesn't matter. The only thing that we're worried about is this angle here, because it's a right angle. We know right angles are 90 degrees. So write an equation relating TIL to LIE. I would say TIL is 4M plus LIE is M plus 20. And we know that equals, if it's a right angle because of that box, it's 90. Then it says solve for M. So I'm going to carry this down. So here's my equation that relates it for A. And now I'm going to kind of keep on going. 4M plus M is 5M's plus 20 equals 90. Subtract 20 from both sides. 5M equals 70. Divide by 5. M equals 1, 20, 14, but let's double check because that doesn't seem right. No, oh, I love when I'm right. So M equals 14. TIL. So 4M. M is 14, so 4 times 14 equals 6, regroup, 56 degrees. LIE, M plus 20, 14 plus 20 equals 34 degrees. It would help if you were able to see that. All I'm doing is I'm taking what they have, substituting it in. You'll get another review that will look very similar with more detail on Thursday. Good luck.